Hey everybody, it's Justin, your friendly neighborhood yoga hippie, here on the Yoga Hippie YouTube channel, here to chat with you a little bit about this topic that's kind of come up in conversations recently. Tell you what, here's another little story I picked up in my studies. So the student says to the master, "It's terribly hot. How do we escape the heat?" The master says, "Go straight to the bottom of the furnace." "But in the furnace, how do we escape the flame?" The master replied, "No further pains will harass you." So to me, this is a story about pain, about suffering. That's what I want to talk about today, is suffering. And specifically the role that we play in our own suffering. Because, the way I see it, we are often the biggest perpetrators in the advancement of our own suffering. You are your own worst enemy a lot of times, right? So where does this come from? What do we do with it? Well, like he said, go to the bottom of the furnace. You have to get inside. You have to start becoming honest with yourself and realizing, when you're acting out of fear of, I'll give you an example from my life. So I've had some, what you might call toxic relationships, where I allowed myself to be treated in a way that, shouldn't be accepted by anyone, right? But I had this fear, fear of being alone, fear of failure. So, I let my happiness be wrapped up in the happiness of another, And when we do that, if we allow our love and our happiness to be contingent only on someone else's happiness, well, guess what, dude? Not everybody knows how to be happy. Not everybody knows themselves that well. And look, man, if you don't love you, how are you going to tell me how to? If you don't know what it is that makes you happy, what do you expect out of me? Right? And if you don't know how to be happy, and my contingency, my happiness is only wrapped up in that, where does that leave me? It leaves me never feeling good enough. It leaves me apologizing for being cheated on. It leaves me strung out in jail, in prison, only having the desire to make someone else happy without knowing what it is that makes me happy. Well, that prevents me from being able to draw boundaries or enforce them. Something else that I was afraid to do. So what is it gonna, am I gonna run this person off, or I'm gonna, maybe. I've heard it put that suffering is when we are caught in acts that are not harmonious with our deepest wisdom. Meaning, you know you best. And if you are fundamentally honest with yourself about what it is that makes you happy, well, that's where you start to draw your boundaries. Look, man, this is what I accept. This is what I deem acceptable. And if you don't like that, that's fine, but kick rocks. It's not for me. Because I'm happy this way, And if you don't like what somebody else is doing, you don't like how somebody else is living, look, man, that's on you, bro. I can't get wrapped up in everything you care about, what makes you happy. I got to work on me. I got to get in here and figure out what it is that makes me happy and what I need to keep away. So, if you can't look back on some of these situations and these relationships or maybe poor decisions with some modicum of self-reflection, what happened? What affected it? And mainly, primarily, what was my role in it? If you can't acknowledge the role that you play in your own suffering, you'll never be released from it. But you don't have to be hung up on those things. You can see where you've, allowed things to slide or made mistakes or poor decisions in the past. Accept your role in it and know that next time it's not going to happen that way. You can acknowledge it and drop it. Let that shit go, man. Keep on moving forward. Onwards and upwards. So I hope this made a little bit of sense to you. Because I really do. I feel like self-reflection and maybe, meditation or just some alone time to really be honest with yourself about what's going on and what you can do about it. You're stronger than you think. It will work out better than you know. But you need to trust your gut, be honest with yourself, and that'll allow you to be honest and, forthright with the people around you. You start to make your boundaries and enforce them, and it doesn't feel so awkward once you get used to it, Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time, if nobody told you they loved you today, I do.